From the first episode of this show, our goal has been to spotlight people of interest within the orthodontic community. From rock stars like Cole Johnson to consultants like Jill Allen, from younger docs making big waves like Nicole Wax and Doc Ock, to elder statesmen like Dr. Depew, we love to mix it up. But tonight is a straight talk first. Our guest this evening has the distinction of probably being just as popular outside of the ortho community as he is in it. Whether he's gracing the cover of Ortho Town or Instagramming live to his nearly 35,000 followers, yeah, this doc is genuine celebrity. The best part is, he definitely hasn't even let it go to his head. He's also the nicest guy in the ortho business. So, join us as we get our TMZ on with this orthodontist to the stars, Dr. Dovi Prero. Shut the blinds on the paparazzi, because it's time for some straight talk. Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Straight Talk. My name's Tracy Martin and I'm the founder and lead consultant at Straight Consulting. With me as always are my co-hosts and fellow consultants, Scott Caldwell and Janelle Baum. Welcome, guys.
Hi, Scott. Hi, Tracy. How are you guys?
We're doing awesome. Yeah, no complaints.
Yeah.
How about you, Janelle?
Did you hear what happened this week?
Oh,
What,
no.
what happened?
What happened?
Tell me.
Actually, nothing. I just wanted to keep the audience in suspense. It's been a great week, guys. Thanks for asking.
You're ridiculous.
You suck so awesomely. I love you. I had a good week.
Yeah?
I am excited that I took 2 days off for me days, like personal me days.
Awesome.
And they were the best days ever. And
Hashtag treat yourself.
hashtag treat yourself. But like to have some time as a business owner to really kind of reflect and revise and refresh some of the operations, like having some me time was great for not only myself but also the business, and yeah, like it might be my favorite week in a while.
Hey, happy boss, happy life, right?
Happy boss, happy life.
Good for you, Tracy. Well deserved.
I like it, yeah. Well, let's dive in. Tonight's guest is another classic American success story. From a modest family in the Midwest, he left his parents and 10 brothers and sisters in Chicago and set out for the West Coast. From UCLA to USC, he soaked up the California sunshine before finally opening up shop right in the heart of Beverly Hills. And if you're going to deliver smiles to 90210, your image better be dialed in. This doc leveraged social media to build a massive following on Instagram in just a few short years and is a case study in branding. Jetting in from Prero Orthodontics in Los Angeles, California, please welcome Dr. Dovi Prero.
Yay!
Hey guys, how are you doing? Thanks so much for having me on the show tonight.
Oh, you are so welcome.
Absolutely. Excited to have you.
Yeah, what is up? How are you?
Janelle, good to see you. You know, Janelle, we met each other, I think it was a few years ago, before I knew who you were and before you knew who I was.
Yeah, it's my diary. It was 2018, yeah.
But who's counting, right? Thank you so much for having me tonight. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited to have you. Enjoy always running into you at conferences, and
Good.
unfortunately, we haven't had a lot of those the last few months. So it's exciting to finally catch up over a
Yes.
little straight talk.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How you surviving COVID-19 over there in the Sunshine State?
So we went back to the office about a little more than a month ago. So we've actually, a couple of patients we've seen a couple times already. And so when we talk about like the new normal, I'll just say unprecedented already, so that way we get it out of our way. But with the new normal now, patients are comfortable coming to office. So things in general have been at a slower, more manageable pace. But it's been really great getting back to reality.
Oh, that's a good strategy.
Yeah, no
Good.
doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
good
sounds,
strategy.
sounds like you're well organized over there. And how were you as a homeschooling dad? Were you a good teacher? Were you the bad teacher? Were you the gym teacher?
Good question.
I was the substitute teacher, you know, that guy that you never get anything done with, but you love them and they usually end up telling you stories. No, we have 3 at home. The 2 older ones are teenagers. And so the girls were, you know, more screen time, the better for them. So they were enjoying the screen time. They figured out how to be Zoom, how to be the host, how to make virtual backgrounds. And so they got used to the Zoom school pretty easily. My son, who's 6, he would most of the time be like upside down during his Zoom. So I tried to help and facilitate, and, you know, he's in preschool, essentially it's kindergarten. So they did the best they could. And, you know, we would go on a bike ride before, try to get some energy out, and then go bike ride right after his 2. And I think what he missed most about when I went back to work, he would be calling me during the day and saying, why are we going on our bike rides now? That was what his adjustment was. But I would say I was the substitute teacher for Zoom. Absolutely.
You were the one that just wheels the TV in on the cart, and they're like, yes, movie day.
With the VCR, you know.
Classic.
The upgrade was when the VCR and the TV were in the same unit. Then finally, you didn't have to worry about the cord. That was like, you know, the newest model.
Yeah, that was next level back in the day. I remember that. They're like strapped onto the cart so you can
exactly.
Over.
Exactly.
Okay, wait. How do you have a 12-year-old? How old are you?
Good question.
Start with the hard-hitting questions right out of the gate.
Actually, at the office, we get that a lot. Like, they won't say how old am I, but the moms will be like, so how long have you been in this location? I'm like, because it looks like I'm a young guy. And actually, I just made a mental note recently to bring a picture of my family, because it all of a sudden, like, it puts you in context. So, like, instead of even having to say something, it puts you in context of like, okay, he's a father, he's a husband, and you know, he's a family man. And if he has kids and a wife this age, he must be at least old enough to practice orthodontics. So I am 37. I'll be 38 in September 12th. If anybody's, you know, you can set your calendar there. Yeah, so I can, after the show, we can leave like my Amazon wish list in the show notes.
Yes.
Favorite color, your sizes, favorite stores,
Exactly. So I'm 38. I got married really young. We got married at 23, and then my daughter was born at 24. So she was born before dental school while we were applying. My second was born in the 3rd year of dental school while I was studying for boards. And then my third was born in the 3rd year of ortho school. So I always felt that it gave me like built-in balance. So I couldn't stay too late at school, and I had to be efficient enough to get my stuff done during dental school. And then I feel it's really a nice thing that my wife and I, even though I'm the one who works in the practice, but we've built this whole thing essentially together, because she's been my support all the way throughout our education, and seeing all of the work that went into each step of the way, I think is something nice. If it can be, I think it's something nice for a couple to enjoy. And like I say, you know, I tell like colleagues and friends sometimes, like, there's no ideal time to get married. There's no ideal time to have kids, right? Wait till you practice, wait till you start working, or wait till the practice takes off, or wait till I hire the associate. There's never really an ideal time. So that's why I say just go ahead and do it, and it'll enrich your lives as you go.
I love it.
I like it. Getting deep.
I have a quick question then. So I don't know how you picked your forever person at 23 years old.
Yeah.
But could you please give us a couple of, give us some marriage advice. I always want to go back to marriage advice because so many of our ortho practices are, you know, there's always somebody who's been in this struggle with you the whole time.
Yeah.
Who made it through dental school, who made it through residency, who's been there the whole time. You've always got a partner. How do you stay partners through all the changes that go on through growth of practice?
That's a really good question. I think from the beginning, if we're talking about marriage advice, it was really someone with a great heart. If you can identify someone with a great heart, then, you know, sometimes I tell people you might not get everything on the list, and not that you might not get everything on the list, but I think it has to be the way that you don't get everything on your ideal list. because that's life. But if you go through experiences together, and if the person has a good heart, then with good intentions and someone who's kind, then I think everything can work out. So of course, communication is so important. And I don't say we have anything perfect, but I think we're striving towards a perfect relationship. So keeping that open communication open, and also acknowledging the other's accomplishments and their part in making things happen.
I just mentioned, I think you guys are perfect, because the last time we hung out was at the Orthopreneurs conference in September.
Yeah.
And you had me videotape you surprising your wife up on stage with a big bouquet of flowers. I had goosebumps the whole time. It was great.
I want to take this opportunity to thank you, babe.
Yeah, that was the first time Naomi, I think, had seen me in front of a big crowd. And so I ordered some flowers and I told them to bring it. It was to me, but I said, just leave it at the front desk. And what did they do? Like they brought it to the room. And then Naomi called me. I said, don't answer the door. I don't care who is there. Don't answer the door. And they put it back to the front desk at the hotel, and then we surprised her on stage. It was really nice.
Oh, yeah, that was fabulous. That was a good touch.
So I want to back up for just a second, Dovi. Tracy said in the intro, you came from Chicago, and then you went like full Cali. I mean, you checked every box: UCLA, USC, Beverly Hills. Like, you have sold out for California. How did you end up there? I mean, like, you're one of those people that's like followed the manifest destiny out west. How did it happen?
I kind of felt that I was destined to be here, but my wife grew up here. She grew up in the Beverly Wood neighborhood. She grew up in Beverly Hills area, and so all the signs ended up pointing us back. We applied all over for dental school. I had finished my undergrad out in Baltimore. And so we decided to apply out west, actually everywhere. And so I got in to UCLA for dental school. And so we decided to go for it. And the truth is as I was in dental school, every single day I would be brainstorming or talking or thinking about who can I network with, what kind of doctors in a neighborhood could I learn from. And I always felt that every single opportunity to meet someone was an opportunity, not necessarily for an employment job later, but just the value of meeting someone and hearing their input, especially people who practice in the neighborhood. And so I made it a point. I visited every single orthodontist in the neighborhood. I visited many of the specialists. And it also happened to be that a lot of my family's friends, so my wife's my in-laws, they're great friends with pediatric dentists here who happened to go to high school with my dad in Skokie, Illinois, and they're both from Detroit. When I thought about practicing where I was going to set up shop, I associated here and there, and then I worked in some clinics, but then I almost I would say, from my perspective, like kind of let God show me where I was going to be. So this opportunity came up to rent space, rent a chair from a periodontist right in the neighborhood in Beverly Hills. So I did 1 day a week there, and then I wanted it to develop. And so we started from nothing and got up to 1 day, and I needed a little bit more space. So I talked to another periodontist who ended up letting me rent the space, and I was there for 2 days. And then my wife's orthodontist, like her childhood orthodontist, he retired and needed a place to like sunset his practice and to be able to hand over what he had. And so I brought him into that sublease, and it went to 3 days, and then to 4 days. And then just last year, I had the opportunity of buying the current location that I'm in, which was literally across the street from my sublease. And so every day I was in that where I was renting a couple of chairs, looking up at the top floor of the penthouse here and thinking, okay, is it going to happen? Will it go through? And then it just materialized. And that was really like from being collegial with my fellow colleagues, from the orthodontist that might be older than you, from a specialist that might be younger than you, and cultivating those relationships. And they knew me as a person, and as the small reputation that I may have built, respected it enough that they chose me to carry on the practice here in this location.
That's awesome.
So
wow.
his marketing brain started from dental school.
Yeah. So got to ask, obviously, you've built your big following on Instagram. I mean, closing in on 35,000 followers for Prero Orthodontics.
That's it.
What made you first get on Instagram? Like, what was it that made you go, like, that's where I'm going to, set up shop?
So I was, I think there's always an edge to someone who's first to market. And I saw this in a guy by the name of Dr. Miami, who was, he's a plastic surgeon in Miami. And he was posting all of his, he was essentially the first person to bring the phone into the OR, or the operatory, or the clinic, as we would call it. He was educating his followers, and he was on Instagram and Snapchat because, of course, plastic surgery is from head to toe. So Snapchat has less filtering and censoring, but the concept was he was bringing the phone into the OR and teaching people about it. And he had like a routine. Every morning he would introduce himself and then go about the cases. And I thought, well, if he could do it, I think I could try that. And, back then no one was doing it. So like I said, first to market, you always have a little bit of an advantage. And so I started doing it every day. And what also helped is that I only had like 5 or 10 patients in a day. And so I'd see a couple patients in the morning, and then I'd spend like 2 hours on Instagram going over like the 1 or 2 cases that I had that month. and then, seeing the rest of my day. And I had the time to really focus and hone in on it. And so I also had, at that point, in order to grow my following, I contacted a lot of influencers, and if there's no other place, then Los Angeles would be the ideal place for where a lot of YouTubers and Instagrammers are. And working with them to do collaborations, or them wanting to do some orthodontic treatment or teeth whitening that we do in the office, and really leaning on those relationships to really blow up my following. So we'd bring someone in, they would put us on their story, and then overnight we'd gain 1,000 followers, or overnight we'd gain 5,000 followers sometimes. And so that really helped turbocharge our following. And like I said, that the Instagram is probably like 5 to 7% of our total practice, but I think there's a large value in it, in the fact that it's a lot of top of the mind marketing. So maybe someone doesn't originally find me on Instagram, but I ask patients, they come in, they're like, oh, I Googled you, and then I looked you up on Yelp, and then I followed you on Instagram. And then once they follow you on Instagram, then they're going to see me every day. Mm-hmm. And it's only a matter of time before their tush is in the chair.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
It's like Family Matters back in the day, Urkel, like, I'm wearing you down.
Exactly. But they get a chance to experience everything. They see what it's like. They see what my team members, my employees feel like when they're out in the office, how I take care of them, how I take care of my patients, the results that we get. So there's really not much else that you need to know about an orthodontist. And then you see a little bit of my family life. And then they can relate to me. And then especially if someone else refers them or they read the reviews, then they make their way over at least to see if it's really what it's meant to be.
Done deal.
Dovi,
yes.
I've got to ask. So you're on billboards. You've been on the cover of Ortho Town. You've got a huge following on Instagram. Do you find that you're kind of like a celebrity in your hometown when you're out riding your bike with your son, or you go to the grocery store? What does it feel like? Is there paparazzi after you? Or
Yeah.
Be honest, tell us the
You
truth.
get stopped at Trader Joe's? Like, how does it look?
Yeah.
One time I went to, a little bit. On the one, I went to the local pharmacy one time, and someone was like just staring at me a little extra long. And and they said, you're that orthodontist on Instagram. But my family keeps me in check. My kids are not amused by it. You'll see like my older girls are really not interested in being on my social media. They're like, that's your dude, that's your thing. But actually we had a billboard just go up today. So I'm very excited about that, right in the neighborhood.
Are you on it? Is your
and
face
I'm on it. It's the same one that we've had for a few years. But actually the guy who told me, basically every time they put it on, they have to stretch it so it's taut onto the board. So he said it's kind of on its last leg, so we'll have to do a new one. But
What a bummer.
Exactly. So no paparazzi. You know, there's a lot of fame and fortune out here that are they're interested in more fancier things than Dovi Prero. But you know, practicing in the community, I think, is a real advantage. You know, by nature, when you practice in the community, some of that foundation of marketing is taking care of you. Like where I go, where my kids go to school, where we go to synagogue, where we play in the neighborhood. All helps to contribute to your goodwill, to your good standing in the neighborhood. And so a lot of doctors sometimes will say, where should I practice? And I always say, like, to me, what has been comfortable for me is choose the place where you want to live and invest in that location, be it with being involved in the organizations. We do a lot of philanthropy for the local charities and organizations and schools and community programs. Because they happen to be programs that I believe in, and then in our neighborhood. But it also means that if they're servicing our neighborhood, it's the patients that live with us. So it's kind of like a synergistic effect. So I think practicing in your neighborhood really helps you level up your game, because you know that you're going to see these patients and parents in the Trader Joe's, or you know you're going to see them at school functions, and that if you're not achieving the perfection that you originally promised them, you can't hide by, I work 10 miles away and I come home. You're going to see these people all the time, so you better get your A game strong.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dovi, have you considered any other platforms such as Snapchat, TikTok, MySpace?
So we're not active on Snapchat here in the business, just personally for the fun filters. Instagram, we put a lot of our effort because we know the moms and the kids are on Instagram. And as TikTok is developing, we're honing our strategy to get more involved there. I guess I would say that I'm not first to market in the TikTok space, but I do feel that Instagram has a really wonderful way of the combined feed with story ends up giving patients a really great way of being able to see what's new, and then also to spend time on your page, almost like in your own little community that you've curated, in order to learn more about you and the services you provide and the results that you get. So for some reason, Instagram still has a warm place in my heart, but I do think that it's important for doctors to be on TikTok, or at least to be aware of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I happen to know a TikTok celebrity, like, she's really good, and people really know her. She's kind of a big deal. I could negotiate some things if you ever wanted to do a combo TikTok together. I think that could be cool.
The Janelle Baum, Dovi Prero mashup could break the internet.
The collaboration. Yeah. I can feel it already.
Okay.
So I know you've been, over the years, a fan of Embrace as well as Invisalign. I know you've spoken a lot for them. What tech are you most excited about right now? I mean, just any company, any just generalized, like what do you really?
That's a good question.
I mean, obviously, you care about delivering the best quality treatments.
Yeah.
So what is it that's got you jazzed right now?
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, I still am on the Itero train, as if you would call it. Maybe some would call me the conductor or the engineer of the Itero train. Which I speak about a lot for them. And still today, patients, when we show them the outcome simulator in the consultation, is a chance for them to say, I didn't see that it was that bad, or, I'm so excited about the upcoming smile that I'm going to get. And it's a really motivating factor. So I would still say that Itero is what I'm most enthusiastic about. We do a lot of Invisalign in our office, and then we do a nice amount of Embrace too. Essentially, whatever the patient wants, they're going to get. Sometimes it's easier for us to do the case with Invisalign and have the patient have a better experience, and so we can recommend that. But overall, I think the Itero is something that I'm still very passionate about. We scan everybody and their mama at every new patient visit, and it's a great way to have a piece to talk about treatment for them and to motivate them.
And you simulate everybody.
Everybody.
Right? Every new patient gets a simulation. So
It's
TC's
part of-
out there, you heard it.
Absolutely. So what happens is my team, the most important thing, I have some webinars on the Invisalign website about it, but the most important thing is for them to take and that's the first thing we do. The patients come in and we scan them. I don't want anything done before we scan. And it really just sets the tone for the rest of the visit. And then I love the favorite question is they say, okay, well, what else do you need in order for me to get started? Do you need to take measurements of my teeth to order the Invisalign? And the answer is, no, we have everything to get started. All we need is a yes. And then, so when they give us the yes, it's ready to go.
Boom. I love it.
Dovi, are you ready for what's about to happen?
Go for it.
It is time for the lightning round, Dovi.
The lightning round!
Okay, we're ready for the lightning round. Fun, easy questions, quick answers. Are you ready, Dovi?
I am ready, Janelle. Let's do it.
All right, toilet paper, over or under?
Under.
Oh, that's the wrong answer.
We're gonna, can we cut?
Yeah.
Sorry, toilet paper over. I like it under. You know, most people do it over, right?
Yeah,
I
they do,
like-
Dovi.
I like it under. Then it's hidden. The edge is hidden. You don't see the edge.
I'm with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. I've had a couple of husbands and they all really like it over. And I think that's kind of stupid. I think you're right. I like how it's hidden. You're right.
You're both as beautiful as you are wrong.
Yeah,
I compromise a lot.
But mostly it's I say it's wipes. That's the truth.
That's it. It's all about the wipes.
But if I use wipes, then you must always leave the cap open. That's part of that's my marriage advice right there. Leave the cap open of the wipes. The container.
Oh, I
Don't
love
they dry
it.
out?
Don't they dry out? How does
Yeah.
that work? Don't they dry
Yes.
out?
That does dry out, and then you get reminded.
Best episode ever.
All right.
We're gonna cut to a commercial. Beer or wine?
Beer, absolutely.
All right, now we're friends again.
How many beers does it take to get you drunk?
I'm pretty much a lightweight, so like 13.
All right. Favorite Jewish dish, maybe Passover or otherwise.
Yeah.
What's the one that you're
Okay.
like, ooh, can't wait for
I
that to
can
be
get
on the
into that.
menu?
Yeah.
I absolutely love, I'm a simple man, like a matzo ball soup,
Simple.
chicken matzo ball soup. My wife makes mean matzo ball soup. It's just delicious. If you're sick, it works. If you're healthy, it works. If you're cold, if you're hot, it's just something warm about it.
It's basically a miracle cure. I get it.
It is.
If you said gefilte fish, I would have had issue.
The gefilte fish was maybe the first iteration of sushi, but I think sushi has evolved to be a little bit better.
True story.
I love sushi.
I got a question. If you could pick one day last year and relive it, what would that day be?
What a great question,
I think it was that beer that we had together in Orthopreneurs when we didn't even know each other.
First
Yeah,
met. You
That's
and
right.
Cole Johnson came up to the table I was sitting at.
right.
And we didn't know that you guys were a big deal. So we're like, oh, another group of guys coming up to the table.
No big deal. That's your everyday life.
That was the first year I met Tracy and Scott too.
Is that right?
And I was slightly obsessed with Tracy, and look at me now.
Look at her
now.
now. Look at her now. Jeez.
Look at me now.
Okay, well, good news is that Straight Consulting is sponsoring one of the happy hours at Orthopreneurs.
Well, I
So
love
we
that.
can all have a drink together
I love
at the
that.
upcoming meeting. No problem.
Sure can.
If you were in a boy band, who would you pick to be in your boy band with you? It could be any celebrity. It could be an orthodontist. It could be anybody you want from any time period. But you're the lead vocalist, just so we're clear,
The lead vocalist.
in my dream.
Don't make it weird.
Who sings that? I think it's NSYNC, right? tearing up my heart with love
that's
with you.
yeah, for sure in sync.
Yes. Yes.
And no matter what I do, I don't. As soon as I know, I butcher the lyrics all the time.
Has
So I'm
nothing
not
to do
gonna
with the
try it.
question, but I love it.
Close
Keep
enough. We'll
going.
take it.
With or without you, who would I choose? I don't even know. I mean, I'd probably choose like I would choose my boy Glenn Krieger. And then maybe Doug Shaw would be.
Oh my
I'm sure he can sing, but he for sure can.
He's got the dance moves.
Oh, then you've got Hart on one side, you got dance moves on the other side. I mean, also Hart. He's
Exactly.
also a good friend, but
I don't know. I think maybe like Kyle Fagler could pay the bass vocals maybe.
oh yeah. I see this. This is starting to be a real thing. Like if you keep it all ortho, then I could see this happening at happy hour.
Yeah,
Who
you
knows?
need, like sparkly
Yeah.
jumpsuits or something.
Yeah.
And then maybe I would impose on Grant Collins and because I think he can sing, and then Cole. I think we should put a barbershop quartet together.
I love it. I love this
But
one.
I think there's more than 4 people there in the quartet.
Close enough.
Yeah,
That's
we
fine.
got
That's our great. Those are the greatest singers that we have in ortho. Like you picked well.
I have a question for you guys.
Oh
Sure.
gosh. Okay.
When you're working with the orthodontist, what would you say are the top 5 indicators of someone who is or will be successful in practices that you've worked with?
Okay, so 5. Okay, well, 1 is their listening skills. 2 is their team's listening skills. 3 is their ability to hold people accountable. Accountability is probably the number 1 thing that people need me to help them with.
You love playing bad cop, though. That's one of your favorite roles. So.
I do love it. I can't help it. I don't know what's wrong with me, guys. Like, I love to really bring reality to the world. No. Okay, so 3 is accountability for sure. And then 4 is just open-minded. Like, when I explain what we do, I'm an exercise coach for orthodontists. So I will give you the diet plan, I'll give you the workout routine, and I'm going to show you how to do the workout routine. But ultimately, if you want to not be fat anymore, you've got to do this.
Yeah. You've got to get your ass off the couch.
You got to get your ass off the couch. And so when I start seeing the numbers not getting better, I know that you're picking up the cupcake and you're eating it. And so it's, so as far as it's like following direction and just really being committed to the plan is probably the 4th thing. And then the 5th thing is just a pure desire for growth, because they're and I have to say that because I only know how to grow. I grow myself. I grow my team. We grow. I grow our business. I grow other businesses. Grow. That's all I know how to do. And so it's happened once or twice where a doctor has come to me and said, I love where we're at. I don't want to grow anymore. I just want to maintain where I'm at. And I've had to stop and go, do I know how to do that? It's been interesting, but
well, it's like Shawshank, either get busy living or get busy dying. That's basically
that's kind of all I live in.
You can't maintain the status
would
quo.
Would you say those same qualities are for team members also? Would you add anything or say that there are qualities for team members that would make them a successful team?
Specific to team members, it's just it's a desire to do more, and that's hard to ask of your team. Like okay, we're on straight talk. Let me tell you straight. I know what I'm asking of these auxiliaries because I've been an auxiliary myself for a number of years, and so you can ask them to do things, but what's the why? For them, they don't have the same why as the doctor, as the entrepreneur. Like, it's not their livelihood. They come in, and for many of them, and it's sad that I can honestly even kind of stereotype each position as to their motivations, but it's It's they get paid whether they do an amazing job from 9 to 5 today versus tomorrow when they do a shitty job from 9 to 5. It depends on them. And so finding their why and finding their motivation is half the battle. So it's a little different coaching when it goes to the team than it does to the doctor, because they have a lot more invested than the team does.
Interesting. And what do you think? What do you think orthodontics is going to look like in 5 years? What's it going to look like in 15 years?
I think that's a great question. I mean, I think one thing that COVID has done has been act as an accelerator for where the industry should be heading anyway. I think that everything that most docs are having to do as a reactive measure right now, whether it's getting involved with a Smile Snap or an orthofy, being able to sign from home, virtual consults of any kind, it's like you should be doing it anyway. And so I think there's kind of a catalyst moment here where people are forced to do this kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I think that's where it's headed. I mean, you have an entire generation raised with the convenience of, I have a piece of glass in my pocket that if I tap it in one configuration, a pizza shows up at my house in 30 minutes. If I tap it in a different configuration, a car shows up to take me to the airport. Like, we are all about instant gratification and the convenience of the mobile device. And so getting doctors on board with the idea of virtual consults and smile assessments, and
that was a big,
just how can I better serve my customers? And and it's like, yes, they're patients, but they're also customers. It's an elective process. You're not curing cancer. You're delivering smiles, and it's super worthwhile. But the world won't stop spinning if someone doesn't go to an orthodontist. And so by being able to deliver that kind of service and meet people where they are, I think that's where the industry is going. So anything that supports that, I think, is going to continue to thrive. And anyone who's not willing to get on board, I think they're going to see their numbers dip.
I'm going to piggyback off that. That's exactly right. Good job.
Thanks, boss.
Good job. But I think from now moving forward, what we're teaching our offices is that from now on, when you take a new patient call, we have like a great, script or framework that we want everybody to follow, blah, blah, blah. But in the end, it comes with a question of, and how would you like to meet Dr. Prero? Would you like to meet him in the office? Do you want to come check out the office, or do you want to do a virtual consult and do it from the comfort of your home, which is more convenient for you? And continue to always offer it, because it's what millennials wanted anyways.
Right.
I want to be able to just do it on the go. And hell, I might want to make it a game time decision. I might want to make that decision the day of and be fine with it. So you got to build your templates to be able to do that.
That's so interesting. Yeah, making that concierge type of where flexibility is there for the patients.
And I'm seeing a huge difference I'm just going to say from a financial analysis standpoint, I'm seeing a big difference in the practices of our practices that chose to do virtual consults and switch to a virtual consult platform, or really a virtual platform in general, because I'm a huge proponent of using the virtual platform for all your OBS and all your retainer checks and all those kinds of things. Like, anything we can avoid bodies being in the building, let's do it. So I'm seeing a big difference financially from the ones who adopted it to the ones who as I call it, kind of buried their heads in the sand a little bit and just kind of considered COVID a longer vacation than normal and an inconvenience, and then tried to kind of just redo everything again. Just they don't have the production numbers that my virtual ones did.
That's so interesting. Well, I think you guys always have a great pulse on what's current and what's coming down the pipeline. So I appreciate that insight.
All right. Well, let me close this out with just a big thank you to you, Dovi. I appreciate you doing this, and they were good questions, and you've delivered a lot of great content for our viewers. So thank you.
Of course. Thanks so much for having me. Again, like I said, I appreciate you guys, your commitment to the profession in general. It's always nice to see people that have a great outlook on what's going to be. And it's refreshing and it's encouraging to, maybe the doctors that are in the trenches and dealing with team issues, dealing with culture issues. And you guys have a great way of really helping teams excel and do their best and be the best version of themselves. So kudos to you guys, to the whole Straight Consulting team. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
You're an awesome orthodontist. You're an awesome dad. You're an awesome husband. So continue to stay awesome. It was great hanging out with you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, well, that'll do it for this episode of Straight Talk. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Awesome. COVID high five.
COVID high five.
COVID high five.